Palantir. It is a huge day for Palantir. Palantir CEO Alex Karp just went on CNBC a few hours ago. Thank you, Arnie, for uploading this to your X. We're going to go ahead and react to this 9-minute video here. Looking forward to getting into that. And then I want to react to a few other things that are going on with Palantir. It's action-packed Palantir day here today, folks. Appreciate y'all joining me. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for smashing that thumbs up button. We're going to go ahead and jump into this. Also, just so you guys know, pin comment down there. Free new video I released for you guys. It's a workshop, stocks to buy now for 2025 and how to position your portfolio. That's free to access. That will be pinned comment down there.
And they talk about working with your software AIP. That's going to include BP, a new customer, also AT&T, a longtime customer, talking for the first time.
Awesome.
So a big day and also a big month. You're joining the S&P. Your company, previously kind of mysterious, private for about 17 years. Now you're going to be in the S&P. You're going to be added to millions of 401ks. How does that feel for you as a founder? What does that mean for the company?
Well, yeah, it's been a long ride. I've been at this together with other Palantirians for almost 20 years. And, you know, we believed that we could build a company that would make America and its allies stronger, better.
Hey, it just happened to be I had to rock the white tee today, man.
More intelligent, more agile, wealthier. And we took a lot of positions that looked outside the norm. Some people said batshit crazy, like America is good, the West is good, we should fight for meritocracy. We can make industry in America dominant, not apologize for being the best and greatest country in the world, our allies around the world. Actually, the most radical thing we ever did was build software that actually was fully aligned with our customers, with our partners, whether they be military or commercial. The way you were told to build a software company was stay away from government at all costs, because that might help somebody. Build software that makes customers feel like they're being pleasured while they're being screwed. We never did that, and we stood by our values, and I'm really proud of Palantirians and our supporters, and it's an incredible ride.
Let's dig into the software. So we're here at AIPCon for your software, AIP. You've been on the record that right now only two things matter, chips and ontology, all right? So you don't make chips. What's ontology?
And our
By the way, oh my gosh, guys, talk about an epic lineup here today, right? The World Bank, Cleveland Clinic, Morgan Stanley, Merck, Tyson Foods, BP. I mean, what an epic lineup Palantir has. I mean, that's just phenomenal. And I still don't know. Palantir must give these guys some sort of discount for, you know, speaking publicly about their product and getting more customers and things like that. But I'm like, it's amazing. It's amazing that Palantir has that sort of power that they could get these massive institutions to come out and talk about Palantir's product and how it's helping their business. And I love it because at the end of the day, that's the best salesperson you could ever have is other companies, right? Other executives.
And it's an incredible ride.
Let's dig into the software. So we're here at AIPCon for your software, AIP. You've been on the record that right now only two things matter, chips and ontology, all right? So you don't make chips. What's ontology? You've been out talking about ontology, kind of preaching about it. How does it relate to enterprise customers and the use of AI?
So AI is a mysterious revolution. People basically have it wrong. They think all the values in the large language models. Large language models are like hydrocarbons in the ground. They need to be processed. If you're going to do something beyond chat, something that is crucial for the business, like bringing hydrocarbons out of the ground, or actually in the government context, monitoring troops, figuring out how to kill your adversary while staying alive, that raw knowledge has to be processed and put into your system, in the logic of your system, and in the security model of your system at the cost your system wants to pay for a particular kind of model. So long story short, that hydrocarbon-like LLM is essentially worthless to your business without the processing capabilities, both in the ontology and in Foundry. And we believed this 5 years ago. We figured this out, by the way, by doing work for the U.S. government. Some of that work is going to be presented today. Right. So if you want to really kill your adversary on the battlefield or change the economics of your business, you need a way of processing the raw resources.
So commercial customers, that's the growth engine of the company. It's doubled since you launched AIP, but you're talking about your military business. Presidential debate this week, two very different candidates. You've been on the record saying it doesn't matter who the president is, but during the debate, we saw President Trump. He didn't seem committed to the war in Ukraine. You previously worked with ICE. We could see changes in immigration policy. Does this election actually matter for the company now?
Well, look, it matters for America. We are a company that embodies people that support both President Trump and Vice President Harris. I'm kind of historically been an unhappy, kind of radical Democrat. I still am. I support having a tough border. I support inflicting pain. I mainly support, by the way, something that seems to be escaping both parties, which is if you touch an American, we will inflict pain on you for generations. That should be the U.S. policy. Whether that happens in Gaza, whether that happens in Ukraine, wherever that happens, you cannot touch America. From a business perspective, we've done well under both parties. Our products are superior. We stand by their superiority, and both parties recognize that we have the best products.
All right, so we've mentioned...
So that's huge right there, right? Because you might be thinking, okay, if this president wins or this president wins, like if this person wins the election, is Palantir more screwed or are they going to be in a better position? Listen, Palantir set up well regardless of who wins this election, regardless of who wins the election. Bottom line in regards to that.
Incredible stock growth. Looks like you get another boost from joining the S&P. What contracts do you think that Palantir needs, whether it's government work or commercial work? What contracts are you still out there looking to obtain to kind of prove that AIP, your software, is the best in the world, which I know we talked a year ago. You said you were setting out to do that.
We're not interested in we show, we don't tell. We believe, our customers, we have 111 partners presenting who believe our products are valuable to them, in some cases transformative to them. We are very focused on product innovation. Part of what AI does is allows you to innovate quicker, and if you have distribution, distribute that innovation quicker. So our main goal is to accelerate product development in all areas: military, manufacturing, government, AI-backed targeting, AI-backed ways of running your business, and then we'll see where we are in a year. My firm belief is Palantir will be 10 times bigger in the future. You know, you've had all these critiques of Palantir.
Whoa, 10 times bigger in the future, right? So ultimately that means he sees Palantir being a company that's going to be doing revenue of, let's say, $20 to $30 billion a year. $20 to $30 billion a year company, right? Can Palantir get there? Can Palantir become a $20 to $30 billion revenue company, which then could mean Palantir could be bringing in, let's call it 10 billion plus a year on the bottom line in regards to net income, right? Which then, if they're bringing in 10 billion plus, let's just say it's 10 billion, right? Let's say they're doing $30 billion of revenue. They're doing $10 billion on the bottom line, right? You would be able to command a market cap, of somewhere around $350 billion for the company, assuming it had single-digit growth at that particular time. It was no longer a double-digit growing company, right? Which maybe that's the situation that plays out. Which, right now Palantir is less than $100 billion market cap. So if you go to become a $350 billion market cap, because that'd be a 35p. Now let's say, they're one of the very, very special companies. They say they can get to like a 50% net margin, right? And they're doing $30 billion of revenue a year. That's $15 billion. $15 billion, then you're talking about a market capitalization of $450 billion, if not $500 billion plus for Palantir at that particular time. And right now the market cap's less than $100 billion, right? So that's a very exciting opportunity if Palantir can grow into that. And honestly, I think they probably can. With looking at their product suite they have right now, never mind what they're going to be coming out with over the next year, next 3 years, next 5 years. There's going to be a lot of exciting things launched. Remember, Palantir 5-10 years ago was a fraction of the size it is now. They had not nearly as many products in the market as they do now, right? So they're a growing company. They're a company that has a very impressive workforce. From what I hear, it's one of the best workforces out there. And so they're going to continue to keep the pedal to the metal, especially as long as Alex Karp here. And does it look like Alex Karp's ready to go anywhere anytime soon? Does it look like he's ready to go float around on a yacht all day? I don't think so. I think he's pretty committed to running this show for the next at least probably decade, to be honest, right?
We're the Frankenstein monster. It can't be a product. It's never going to be free cash flow positive. It's never going to be GAAP profitable. It could never get on the S&P. It's clearly very valuable, but it can't be 10 times more valuable. And our job is to show and not tell, and we are going to show that we can be 10 times bigger than we are now.
And that reminds me of a lot of another company. Do you know what company I'm thinking of? Thinking of Tesla. Reminds me a lot of Tesla. Tesla's always been one of those companies. They can't do this, they can't do that, they can't do this. And then they accomplish it and they do it and people are like, oh my gosh. And then it's like the next thing. It's like, they can't do this. There's always a lot of haters in regards to Tesla. There's always a lot of haters in regards to Palantir, just to be honest.
Alex, Sarah Eisen has a question for you back at the New York Stock Exchange.
Yeah, thank you. And hi, Alex. It's on the corporate story, which is clearly very exciting for Wall Street. And I know you've announced some new customers like AT&T. And I believe now $1 billion worth of contracts with the oil and gas industry. So, Alex, my question is, I think of Palantir and I think of AI warfare and being able to target your enemies. What are you doing for an AT&T? What are you doing for a gas company that is built on the strength and the business that you have in the federal government?
Well, the products are different, but the baseline way in which you build software, meaning building software that is fully aligned for a complicated customer. So if you take oil and gas or you take AT&T, these are companies with massive investments in architecture. You have to build on top of that, and you have to be able to use algorithms. For example, in the telecommunications, where do you put the wires? What is the most efficient way of having the customer connect to you? How do you do preventive maintenance on the wires? How do you do preventive maintenance on the infrastructure you're building? How do you do the capital allocation so that you can maximize it? These are actually life and death issues for the enterprise, because if you mess that up, you mess up your margins, you mess up the quality of your revenue, and you get to...
Man, Arnie, you might take more screenshots than me. Holy smokes, this is no dang joke.
Disrupted by other competitors. And what Palantir will allow you to do...
By the way, I think it's great that she asked that question because it shows how many people are still confused about what Palantir actually does and how they can help companies and those sorts of things, right? And the more I've understood Palantir, the more I'm like, it's actually fairly simple to understand. It sounds complicated if you don't really know it, but once you know it, like, they're going to, at the end of the day, like I've always explained Palantir, that the cross-section is data and artificial intelligence, and having you as a business make much better decisions using your data, using all the information, feeding it all together, and then understanding through all that, what is the best route to go here with my business, right? Oh, we need to order more of this part. Oh, we're going to have a problem with this line. That's going to need to be replaced over there, right? And being able to keep up to all, and you got to understand, these global companies are massive. I mean, could you imagine what it's like to run a multi-billion-dollar company that's doing business all over the United States and, dare I say, even all over the world? Like, could you imagine how complicated that really is? Like, my gosh. And that's where a product like Palantir really comes in and really helps massively.
Transform that in a quarter, what would have taken you 3-5 years to do. And that's why we have these very loyal, very deep contracts with customers. And by the way, U.S. commercial especially, but also including, BP in the UK and other places in the world, is just extraordinarily strong. We've been growing year on year, roughly 70% for 3 quarters. So it's like we are famous for what we've done to help the U.S. and its allies. I'm very proud of that. But, the unknown, somewhat public secret of Palantir is we're just crushing it in U.S. commercial. And that's really important. It's important for Americans. It's important for Palantir.
So, Alex, you and I, we actually sat down in D.C. just about a year ago to the day. You were just coming off that Senate AI forum. You were joined by Satya Nadella, Senator Pichai, Elon Musk, a lot of AI heavy hitters like yourself. A lot of talk in there about guardrails, regulation, concrete legislation. We haven't heard that much since then. We even have AI leaders at the White House today. You said, you're aware of it, but you're not even sure if you're really a part of it. What's going on when it comes to AI in our nation? Are we properly prepared for the election, for critical infrastructure? What's your view?
Look, the thing about AI innovation, broadly defined, so it's really chips, ontology, and large language models, is the people who are innovating are going so much faster than the people who are trying to regulate. America does need regulation. I think you will see Leader Schumer gathering together to get that legislation. My view of it is it should be tailored to the development of large language models and ontology. So the more developed it becomes, the more guardrails we have, not just to protect us against civil liberties violations and election violations, but also, quite frankly, as it gets more and more advanced, to deter our adversaries from getting what we know how to do, the models and the way we manage the models in civilian and in warfighting contexts for as long as possible. You can't stop our adversaries forever, but every month, every week makes a huge difference because of the way in which development is going. And I'm pretty confident that's going to happen.
In AI forum, one of the things you talked about was election security. So we do have an election coming up. Also, we've seen threats to critical infrastructure. When it comes to AI and our ability to protect our nation's critical infrastructure and also the integrity of our election, in your mind, where do we stand?
Well, there's really, of course, I would have it. There's 2 parts to defense in cyber. One is you defend the perimeter and then you understand what's happening inside the perimeter. That's a classic way of doing AI defense. There are huge limits to that because you're kind of behind, but in that context, you have to use AI to fight AI. The most important way we can defend ourselves in this country is just to make it clear to our adversaries there'll be a price for attacking us. The central weakness we have is you get a free ride. You kidnap our people, you kill our people, you murder our people, nothing happens. If you want to stop interference, either kinetic or physical, you have to impose a price, and that price has to be significant and clear. You know, just in general in foreign policy, we need to talk less and act more.
Alrighty, so I want to go ahead and react to, Arnie's been posting a ton of stuff here. If you're interested in Palantir, he might be worth definitely a follow because he always keeps up to date with a lot of different stuff here. So here he's pointing out Palantir in Tampa hospitals, 0 use case in 6 weeks. When an alternative provider announced the discontinuation of their monitoring solution, Palantir identified an opportunity to make things better. The entire process from initial scoping to user onboarding and deployment in production workflows was completed within 6 weeks. Palantir transforms the efficiency of legacy companies. Blue line since Palantir. Okay. Palantir does what we had in our mind. It works. I don't know who said that quote there. Because, once again, today there's a bunch of these big companies and folks basically speaking about how Palantir has transformed their organization. Palantir AIP helps Mount Sinai, New York City, evaluate patients in real time. This generated $2 million in annual return on investment, plus 354 beds for new admissions annually, plus 400% admissions per month to hospital at home. So basically making the hospital a lot more efficient. Palantir Maven Smart System screenshot he took there. Maven Smart System AI targeting before 2.5 hours, after Maven 30 minutes. Yeah, that's like a 5x, right? That's pretty good and good. Maven, still showing Maven presentation here. Palantir is a leader in spotting the bad guys, using Palantir to help find and eliminate Trinity's bad guys. No surprise there. So, optimizing our supply chain operations with AIP agents, advanced shipping notification, AI supply chain agents. A lot of this stuff's great, and you guys might want to watch all of AIP Con, if you have time tonight or tomorrow or this weekend. And the reason being is there's an immense amount of customers that speak about, obviously, Palantir's products and services and how it's helping their business, government entities, things like that. AIP 5 full of Nike shoes. What are they telling us? Is it really all Nike shoes, though? I don't know what the heck some of these things are. Maybe those are Nikes as well. Obviously, these are heavy Nikes here, which, I don't know where Arnie's going here. Maybe he's talking about a potential partnership with Nike, which I don't think, if I recall, I don't believe Nike uses Palantir as of yet. But, I don't know, it could be a sign that maybe that we're going to hear about some major partnership coming with Nike. That could be interesting. Palantir helped Trinity Rail build a product life management. Oh, they're doing business now with Trinity. Is that Trinity Industries? Because Trinity Industries is a company, they say Trinity Rail here. Might be Trinity Industries. That's a company I used to own many, many years ago. And they made me so much money. That stock was so phenomenal back in the day because the oil and gas boom out in North Dakota. And you had to transport it all somewhere. And the only way you could really do it was through rail cars. And there's like 2 companies that kind of had a monopoly. There's Trinity Industries, which was the big dog. And then there was a company named Greenbrier Industries. They were kind of a much smaller company. So I bought Trinity Industries, understanding there was going to be this massive kind of oil and gas super cycle coming out of North Dakota, and my gosh, was that stock phenomenal. I made some crazy money on it, and that was early in my investing journey, because that was back in, I don't know, that would have been 2010, 11, 12, sometime back in there. And what an opportunity that was. Palantir generated $30 million in savings in 3 years with only 3 months of deployment. Wow. Palantir to manage steel inventory. And that's what I always tell you guys, Palantir, a customer might spend $5 million a year on Palantir's product, right? And it seems geez, that's such a big number. All that matters is that Palantir brings that company back more than $5 million, right? In either increased sales or in cost savings, things like that. That's all that matters. Like, you could be a large organization and spend $100 million with Palantir a year, which is a crazy number. But as long as Palantir helps save you $100 million worth of problems, it was a great ROI, right? If it's helped save you 200 mil and you spend 100 mil, you won. You won. And remember, the 100 mil is a write-off at the end of the day. It's a business expense, right? So just a little food for thought in regards to there. It's the size of our product that matters. That's kind of hilarious, he said there. We have the leader of our retail movement here. Proud of you. That's awesome. So Amit is there. Nice. This is exciting. The most radical thing we ever did was build software fully aligned with our customers. The way you are told to build a software company is to build software that makes customers feel like they're getting... That was obviously the quote from the interview there, which was a pretty hilarious one. But yeah, obviously very, very exciting day, very, very exciting time period for Palantir. And in terms of Palantir's stock price, I'm kind of taking a little breather here. The stock's kind of a little flattish today, right? But the stock's up 123% in the past year, which is phenomenal. We are now only a little over a week. We're like 6 trading days away from Palantir getting into the S&P 500, which don't be surprised if you see more momentum coming to Palantir stock next week. Am I going to be placing any bets on that, like short-term call options? No. Plus, you're already having to pay very big premiums for those, so not interested, right? But I will say it does kind of set up pretty well for Palantir next week, because that's a week that's going to go into the S&P 500. It's not going in until, I believe, Friday. So do keep that in mind. But there's going to probably be a lot of excitement next week around Palantir stock. Additionally, you know, we're about to go into rate cuts next week as well, so there could be a lot of excitement around that. Usually, if anything, you have to worry more about the market after the rate cuts start to happen, not kind of going into it. Usually there's just kind of like a risk on, like good feeling out there. So Palantir is definitely setting up well. But main thing I love is on a day like today, all the long-term talk about how it's helping customers and things like that. And so definitely, you know, if you guys get a chance, definitely, you know, try to check out some of the AIP Con as well. I think it's going to be phenomenal. Even understand the company on a deeper level. Alrighty, guys, appreciate you joining me as always. Thanks so much for being here. Got a brand new workshop for you. That'll be pinned comment down there. If you want to access that, you can email it over or you can text it over. Stocks to buy now for 2025, how to position your portfolio, should help you out immensely. Much love and have a great day.